Welcome to Module 3, Part 2 on Global Grants. I'm still Kevin Eisberg from District 5130, and my partner Leanne Mobley from District 5110 in Oregon, of course, is still who she is. Thanks for joining us again to finish our discussion on Rotary Foundation Global Grants. We've covered some great topics in Part 1, grant requirements, eligibility, district and club qualification, sustainability, the life cycle of a grant.
All great stuff. Kevin and I really hope you're inspired to find a Rotary Club partner, get started on identifying a need, and going to work on a global grant of your own.
So Leanne, what should we cover next with our fellow Rotarians?
That is an easy choice for me. It's partnerships. Sure, it takes an idea and it takes passion, but it also takes effective partnerships to make a grant happen. So here's another quiz. True or false, are international partnerships a required element for a global grant?
Even I know that one. Okay, everyone out there in Videoland, together now, true!
Yes, you are all correct. Collaboration is as much a part of Rotary's successes as our service. What do we say? We bring together leaders, exchange ideas, and then take action. One of the eligibility requirements for a global grant is that 2 or more Rotary clubs and/or districts must work together. This relationship is extremely important throughout the life of a grant project. Let's play a little match game for host, international, and cooperating organization. I'd like you to read the descriptions and then determine which partner matches it. I'm going to give you a minute.
Great! I like games.
So match the organization to the description. Let's see how you did. So the cooperating organization, yep, provides technical expertise and training. Hey, right again, the international sponsor is located outside the project country. And sure enough, host sponsor is located in or near the community where your project is taking place.
Another perfect score for me. I could teach this stuff.
Okay, let's go into a little bit more detail. Cooperating organizations are reputable, non-Rotary organizations or academic institutions that are going to provide expertise, infrastructure, advocacy, training, education, or other support for your grant. Cooperating organizations must agree to comply with all the reporting and auditing activities required by the foundation, and they're going to have to provide receipts and proof of purchase where required. The Peace Corps is an excellent example of a cooperating organization. And just so you know, universities hosting scholars are not considered a cooperating organization. The international sponsor is the club located outside the host country, as we've already said. And the host sponsor is the Rotary partner in or near the community where a project is taking place.
Well, what do they each do?
Well, let's take a look at the slide. Typically, the host club or the district provides or assists with community assessment, manages implementation, manages the budget, provides support for a vocational training team and scholars, and receives the project funds.
And the international sponsor?
Well, they're going to be responsible for financial assistance, the necessary technical support and oversight, grant management, any remote tasks, training if it's a vocational training team. They might interview and support the scholars for international study. And both the international sponsor and the host sponsor must be qualified, collaborative in nature, share in developing your plan, and have a 3-member project committee that communicate really well.
And both clubs are responsible for good Rotarian stewardship.
Exactly.
Well, let's start planning this project.
Oh, hold on here just a minute, big fella. There is a lot that goes into planning.
Oh, you're right. Let's take it step by step. You'll hear a lot of things that reinforce what Leanne said about partner duties. The project plan is a collaboration between the host club in or near the area of the grant and the international partner in another country. Both the host club and the international partner need a project team of at least 3 people each.
So perhaps you'd like to tell us what the project teams do?
Glad to. They design and implement aspects of the global grant. They make decisions together, but they can divide up tasks, share the work. And each sponsor designates one primary contact to be responsible for all grant-related correspondence with Rotary. Also, make a communication plan to keep your clubs informed. Ultimately, clubs, not individuals, are responsible for the outcome of a project.
Actually, that's good. I'm sure the foundation doesn't want to hear from everybody in a club.
No, but they hope that everyone in the club has a role. Remember, these are Rotary projects, and Rotary needs to be involved at all stages of the process.
Well, Rotarians, well, what about the local community?
Got me there. All projects will be better with the involvement of the local community, especially in the planning project. The most successful plans allow Rotarians and community members to take action together. The planning teams need to consider all the items shown. Remember, the reason you're doing this grant is to have a meaningful impact on the community. In Rotary, we don't do global grants because it seems like a good idea. We want measurable goals and outcomes. The plan should have a series of action steps. You can divide responsibilities, but all work has someone who is responsible. Grants require ongoing monitoring and data collection to ensure success, and always have planned options if ongoing monitoring reveals a need.
Boy, with all this work, you really do need a timeline, Kevin.
It's almost like you're setting me up with these questions. Yes, you do need a timeline with specific assignments of who does what. Here's some examples of events and tasks that need to be in your timeline: your assessments, committee meetings, trainings, meetings with the community and cooperating organizations, communications to sponsors, beneficiaries, cooperating organizations, other stakeholders, project implementation milestones, monitoring throughout, and evaluation in the middle and at the end of a project.
I do have a question about one member of our project committee. She's a great Rotarian. She works really hard, regularly donates to the foundation, and she's going to give me a great rate on some supplies that I need for the project. So can I go ahead and put her on my committee?
No member of the project committee can have any financial interest in the project, not even the appearance of a conflict of interest. Rotarians can be involved financially with full disclosure, but never, nothing, no-how on the planning committee.
Okay, don't get so excited.
It's okay. Getting excited keeps me calm. See, I'm calm. I'm sure everyone has read the Guide to Global Grants available on Rotary.org. But there's also a great supplement to help you in planning your goals and evaluation plan: the Global Grant Monitoring and Evaluation Plan Supplement. It will help you to measure the effects on the beneficiaries, show where you started, and measure your success on an ongoing basis. The evaluation piece has to have some specific measures. And don't forget to include everything on your timeline.
With all this to do, I think it's time to point us towards where we can get some help with all of this.
Help! Help! I need somebody! Help!
Whoa, don't sing. No singing.
Okay. Many Rotarians fulfill the vocational avenue of service by using their expertise to support service. You've got experts in your club and district. Your district has an international service chair to help facilitate global grants. Rotary action groups are Rotarians interested in specific areas, eager to help. Cadre of technical advisors. The Rotary staff area focus managers help you craft grant-eligible project plans, offer guidance on best practices in the area of focus. Rotary really is here to help. And you might also get some ideas and perspectives on a region or country from any former Rotary scholars, group study exchange or Rotary friendship exchange team members, even exchange students from or who had been in your host country.
Okay, honestly, those are great ideas. I am madly making some notes here for my next grant.
And no grant would be complete without a financial management plan. And Rotarians are special. Our grant program is special also. It's based on the four-way test and the integrity of Rotarians. And that's why your financial management plan is so important. The financial management plan shows how you'll disperse grant funds, keep your financial records, manage your bank account, and maintain transparency and accountability throughout the life of the project. You may use paper or electronic record keeping, but you better have a backup. A separate bank account is required for foundation activities, and all records must be opened and accessible to the Rotary Foundation, the district, and every member of your club and the host club.
The foundation's got some pretty strict standards. They expect us, to act like Rotarians.
Duh! So make sure your budget is directly related to the goals of the project. Say you're doing a sanitation project. There's no need to budget a Ferrari to transport toilets.
I honestly do not know what it is. You were preoccupied with toilets in Module 1 also.
It's an innocent fetish.
So can we get off this toilet slide and back to budget, please?
Okay. Ascertain what your resources are from the host club and the international sponsor club, how much DDF you expect, and revise your budget to match reality. A detailed line item budget is required, and get at least 3 competitive bids for major expenses.
Have you mentioned any conflicts of interest?
Yes, don't have them. Rotarians may bid on items, but any involvement of Rotarians must be disclosed, and no one on the project committee may bid on anything.
And keep records of everything.
But sure, don't fret about the budget too much. The Rotary Foundation has your back. On the Grant Center page, there's a downloadable Excel file on which to do your whole grant budget.
Now, you talk pretty freely about budget, but you haven't shared where all this money comes from. Does it just fall from the sky?
Only in the movies. Funding comes from Rotary Club cash, Rotarians cash donations, non-Rotarians cash donations, your district designated funds, and you can also make a direct contribution to a project bank account. Your Rotary Club and other Rotary clubs may contribute money they raised. It's matched 50% by the Rotary Foundation. Individual Rotarians may contribute also matched 50%. And other organizations and individuals that contribute are also matched 50%.
Question, are there any restrictions that apply to those non-Rotarian people or to organizations?
Yes, good call. Cooperating organizations or beneficiaries of the project may not contribute.
Okay, that makes sense. It'd be like forcing a beneficiary to buy their way into a project. But certainly don't misconstrue this as preventing charging the beneficiary reasonable ongoing fees, in an effort to support the sustainability. Hey, wait a minute, you haven't even mentioned district designated funds yet.
Oh, yes. DDF, district designated funds, money that comes back to the district from contributions to the Rotary Foundation from Rotarians in your district. It can be used to fund global grants and is matched 100% by the Rotary Foundation. So talk to your district's foundation committee to determine how much DDF you can count on for your project.
Oh, and one more thing, cash contributions require a 5% fee to cover the foundation's overhead.
One more thing. Cash contributed directly to a project bank account does not incur the 5% fee because there is no Rotary Foundation overhead. But this cash contributed directly to a project does not generate Paul Harris Fellow Points credit.
Boy, getting our partners, identifying the need, raising the money. Now we are finally ready to birth this baby. Oops, sorry guys, female reference, I guess. Now your first best friends are your district Rotary Foundation committee and especially your Global Grants chair. Locate and be familiar with what your district's policies and their timelines, how your DDF is allocated, and any technical support and your resources that are available. Okay, so wise one, when your club's ready to go, where do we go to create our grant application?
Well, Rotary.org and the Grant Center, of course. Click on the Foundation tab, and then under Apply for a Grant, click Grant Center. Use the step-by-step instructions for completing the application. See the sidebar on the right for links to great resources. Applications are not reviewed until complete, so be sure to provide all the required information. Once submitted, the application is reviewed by your district's regional grants officer and other staff as needed. If you're asking for more than $50,000 from the World Fund, approval will require a technical review and there will be interim site visits. If you're asking for more than $100,000 in World Fund match, congratulations! Sounds like a great grant. But expect a technical review, advanced site visit, approval of the Board of Trustees, interim site visits, an audit, and a pound of flesh from each committee member.
You just made that last one up.
Yes, but your global grant will need a series of approvals from sponsor, primary contact, club president, District Rotary Foundation Committee Chair, District Governor, so factor the necessary time into your plan.
So how much time should I allow when I'm applying for a grant?
Apply at least 90 days before any planned travel.
You know, I know that 90% of all applications are approved by the foundation, so I am so sure that our project will be approved. We can finally go to work. Now what?
Yep, we've been doing a lot of planning. It's time to implement this global grant.
Well, that should be easy.
Easy? What are you talking about?
Well, sure. You have a great plan. Now just follow it.
Oh, right. We all agreed on a plan, including the Rotary Foundation. We just need to do it. And this is another area where good communication is vital. In order to effectively monitor the plan, keep reviewing your project plan with your project committee and team, including your international and host partners. Measure the project's success and get feedback from community members about its activities. Regularly check in with club partners, cooperating organizations, and the community to identify and resolve issues before they threaten the success of your project.
So what about club members who helped raise money and supported the project?
Absolutely. Report progress regularly to your club.
So while you're doing all that monitoring, what if you find a need to make a change in the plan?
It's fine to make changes. Just get pre-approval from your Rotary Foundation Regional Grants Officer. At a minimum, the host and international sponsors must communicate with each other. Contact your Regional Grants Officer if you have any questions. And get pre-approval from each other and Rotary for any changes to the project's scope or budget. And report to the foundation. That's every 12 months minimum. And be sure to follow the monitoring and evaluation supplement available on Rotary.org.
So Kevin, would this be a good place to talk about financial management?
No, not really. Oh, it's really important. Okay, we can. After all, the Rotary Foundation received a perfect score of 100 for transparency and financial management from Charity Navigator. First, use your financial management plan, the one you created during planning. It's your guide for record keeping. You got to have an open bank account. Typically, grant funds are managed by the host sponsor unless there's a reasonable business purpose otherwise. And that account is only for receiving and dispersing Rotary Foundation grant funds. And every open grant needs its very own account. And it's not to profit on the float. Low or no interest accounts are best. The name on the account should identify the club and the 2 Rotary member signatories that are on the account. The important thing is to have separate people approve the expenditure, sign the check, and reconcile the bank account. Remember, Rotary must always be above reproach. Have a succession plan for transferring control of the project bank account in case a signatory becomes unable to perform his or her duties. If signatories change or die, be sure to notify your grants officer.
That last comment's a little negative.
Rotarians are prepared for anything. Okay, Leanne, here's a quick quiz. Which laws should you follow on a global grant? The host club's laws? The international partner laws? Or the regulations of the Rotary Foundation?
Well, this is the easiest quiz of all. The answer is all of them.
Yep. If there's a conflict between local laws and Rotary Foundation regulations, call your Rotary Foundation payment officer and/or regional grant coordinator. After your global grant application is approved, your club must complete the payment requirements outlined in the approval notification, including provide the project bank accounts information, name your 2 signatories, sign the global grant legal agreement, and remember to get those cash contributions to the Rotary Foundation or deposit them directly into the project account. Keep strict financial records. Original receipts of all expenditures greater than $75. Record everything: date, amount, reason.
Is any reason acceptable? I'm kind of thinking vacation.
No, it all has to be in your grant spending plan with signatures on every transaction. And avoid cash unless you absolutely must. You'll still need receipts for any cash transaction, and both sponsors must approve a cash transaction.
And I know that Foundation really doesn't want us to be using cash.
No, they don't. And keep records of everything. Records of all grant correspondence, all your beneficiary documentation, don't forget the community assessment, cooperating organization, memorandum of understanding, vendor documentation, quotes, contracts, grant-related documentation, scholar and vocational training agreements, receipts and invoices, bank statements, other financial documentation.
Oh, and inventory.
Yeps, keep track of inventory, where equipment and other assets are and who has control of them. No Rotary Foundation funded items can be owned by the club or Rotarians. It all belongs to the beneficiaries.
Oh, and buy locally. For sustainability, purchase the equipment and other goods locally when possible and in consultation with the benefiting community so that it can be operated and maintained and repaired even after the project's finished.
Just like my local farmer's market.
Well, yeah, sort of. Okay, so let's move on to reporting. Having good stewardship includes timely reporting on progress of our grants and the use of the funds. Documenting our project is absolutely important. But think about the fact that with final reports, we're creating a great archive of projects that can be repeated or even scaled up, increasing our impact going forward. The job isn't finished till the paperwork's done is an old mantra that we hear from time to time. Rotarians and grant writers, we believe that it's never truer than when it comes to reporting on our grant projects. Right, Kevin?
Right. I love paperwork. But with everything going digital, shouldn't we call it file work, computer work, or bit work, or electron work?
Oh, for heaven's sake, you're a piece of work. You will submit all reports online through a global grant application tool. Basically reports include a statement about progress towards your grant goals, how Rotarians participated, and how funds are spent. The timeline starts from receiving the first grant payment. Your first report is due within 12 months, and then every 12 months while the project is active. Final reports are due within 2 months of completion. There's a great reference in the guide for reporting on global grants. There are 9 report areas for a humanitarian project, from stating its purpose to how the funds are spent and when your project's completed. Be aware there's additional reporting for a global scholar and a vocational training team. We always have good intentions, but sometimes timelines are not met. Kevin, who's notified if we have a problem with our grant reports?
Everybody gets notified, so everybody can help you get back on schedule.
You are right. Zone, district, and club leaders all get copies of letters addressing any problem that might exist with reporting requirements. So remember, if you're in arrears on reports, you cannot participate in another grant until all the reporting requirements are fulfilled. A special note for funding for scholars or vocational training team members. Rotarians are responsible for reporting, so make sure you stay in contact with the scholar and any non-Rotarian team members so money is being spent per grant terms and you have receipts as needed.
Seems like all the rules are just about doing the right thing.
It's always about being good stewards of our donations. So if you have more than $500 of grant funds remaining after your project's completion, the foundation must approve their use for project-related expenses. Unused grant funds, those under $500, may be used for activities that meet the global grant eligibility requirements, and those don't need nor do they require approval from the foundation. Any remaining unused grant funds should be returned to the Rotary Foundation, and they're going to be credited to the World Fund.
With really good reports, I should be able to steal all your good ideas and do a similar grant. Would I get in trouble?
Trouble? No, absolutely not. The foundation encourages us sharing good ideas, and all those result in increasing our impact. So there you have it, the ABCs of a global grant. Kevin, what else do you want to mention?
Well, with all this we've plopped in your laps, remember, you are not alone. There is a plethora of resources. Well, I like the word plethora. Again, there is a plethora of resources to help and support you. They all want your grant to be successful. You've got your own district foundation committee. People in your district have much knowledge. They can offer advice and guidance throughout your grant. The Regional Rotary Foundation coordinator and assistant coordinators, they're there for training and support with any foundation needs you have. Regional grants officers at Rotary headquarters, they review your grant application and administer your grant and answer your questions. Areas of focus managers, these people at Rotary headquarters offer guidelines on grant use project design to match the area of focus you've chosen. And the cadre of technical advisors, they have the best name. These Rotary members volunteer their time and professional expertise in Rotary's 6 areas of focus. They can evaluate the technical feasibility of projects, review finances and grant management. Rotary Action Groups, more volunteers to provide guidance, ideas, and support in a particular area. Rotary Ideas, here you can find potential grant partners or post your own project needs. And Rotary Showcase, share your success here or look for ideas you can apply to your own project. And the Rotary Support Center. These people, they're sitting by their phones waiting for your call to help you write a better grant.
And don't forget, other great resources include the grant management training modules 1 and 2 that we've done. Module 1 says a lot about the memorandum of understanding and the terms and conditions. And actually, for that matter, you can always listen to module 3 again, right?
Yeah, I certainly had to listen to it enough.
Oh, heavens, enough from you already. The Grant Center page is an amazing one-stop shopping center for grants.
We can go shopping?
No, we're not going shopping. But what we are going to do is we need to stop now. We've got to get out there and make good things happen. The Foundation Grants program is about engaging Rotarians and turning our donated dollars into gifts of the heart through a humanitarian project. Kevin and I hope this information helps you make that just a little bit easier.
Now get busy.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.